Hey y'all, I read Appalachians and Race, edited by John C. Inscoe. It was published in 2001, and the reason I say it is edited instead of written by him is because it's actually a book compiled of 18 different essays from different authors. He just put them all together. These essays are all about slavery in Appalachia, obviously. They discuss a wide variety of topics, including different jobs they might have, or railroad expansion and its effect on slavery. There was even a story about a free black slave owner, which I thought was pretty interesting. My favorite part of this book was an essay titled The Salem School and Orphanage. It's by Conrad Othwalt and Phoebe Pollitt. The Salem School and Orphanage was established in Elk Park, North Carolina, and in this community, these missionaries and Mennonites came together. They wanted to address the needs of the African American community. But when these Mennonites started the school, they never segregated the black students from the white. And an individual came up and complained to them and was like, "You can't do that. You can't mix them." And long story short, that's how there ended up being a little isolated community in North Carolina where all the teachers were white and all the students were black because the Mennonites felt that the black kids needed it more than the white kids. They just kicked the white kids to the curb, which I thought was pretty cool. I recommend reading this book to anyone that wants to broaden their horizon on slavery and learn a little bit more about it. It really opened my eyes to a lot. I felt like I was constantly reading something to my husband out of it and being like, "Did you know something?" And it also opened my eyes a lot to how blacks and whites coexisted. They got along. There were relationships. It wasn't just like a slave and a master line there. Obviously, there were some bad ones too, but not all were bad. I read this book cover to cover, every word on every page. Not gonna lie to you, some of it was a little hard for me to get through. I would get distracted, but I did my very best, and I learned a lot. I had to narrow it down some to do my lesson plan. Obviously, I couldn't teach 18 different things, so I focused on the Underground Railroad. I would start this lesson by playing the folk song, Follow the Drinking Gourd. There's a lot of different renditions of it on YouTube. I think it's pretty cool. I would ask the students to make predictions about what it's about. And after we listened to it, I would explain to them. Oh, actually, sorry. I would pass out this pamphlet. That's what we're going to do this lesson on. We're going to keep everything in this little trifold pamphlet. Sorry, my printer ran out of ink, so it's not very pretty. But I would have them look at this picture and explain to them that the tip of the spoon on the Big Dipper points at the handle of the Little Dipper, and the tip of the handle in the Little Dipper is the North Star. So if you follow the stars in the Big Dipper, it would help you go north. And north is where the slaves were able to escape their masters and get their freedom. They often went to Canada where they could get away from the masters and people who were looking for them. I would try to activate the students' prior knowledge, if they have any, on the Underground Railroad before I read Follow the Drinking Gourd by Jeanette Winter. It's a really good book. After I read the text, I would go over a series of questions that I have in my pamphlet, and we would have a class discussion on all of them. I think there's 6 questions there. After that, we would finish up the discussion, and the students would be placed into groups. They would be grouped according to their skill level. This would help me spend more time with the groups of students that would need more of my help and direction. I'm going to put stations all around the room, and each station will be a different activity in this book. The timer will be set, so each station gets a certain amount of time. The students will be assessed on what they write in this pamphlet as well as their class participation. I'm just going to tell you about some of the activities we got. So this one, it says to look through the book at the illustrations, specifically the runaways' faces, and I want the students to list 5 of the feelings that you see on the characters' faces, and then there's a little group chat question down here. Can you imagine how you would have felt if you were enslaved? Discuss it with your group. Do you agree? In this one, it is comparing, it's a little T-chart, to compare the freedoms of Americans have today and the lack of freedom that slaves had during the time of the Underground Railroad. In this one, got a little art going on. Draw a picture of yourself in the Underground Railroad. Are you a passenger or a conductor like Peg Leg Joe? And that is a character in the book. And then I made a little word search for them. They can use highlighters, something fun to keep them engaged. And then this last activity, yeah, this is the last one. I would have the students come up with an acrostic poem. For each letter listed right here, write a word or a phrase that starts with that letter that is associated with the word freedom in the Underground Railroad. I feel like this lesson could be really beneficial, and I think the pamphlet is fun. I wish it was in color so you could see it. I think it could go a lot of different ways after. We could talk about the Civil War or more information about slavery, explain the typical life of a slave, or how slavery was abolished, or how Abraham Lincoln worked to stop slavery. I feel like that's just one of those topics you can never get all of the information out. But thanks for listening to me. I hope you liked my plan. Thanks.